Remember to talk into the microphone.
We live?
What's up, guys? Readiness Reviews here with you again. We are doing our 10,000 subscriber live stream. It's hard to believe that we've already reached 10,000 subs. The last live stream that we did was May of last year, and at that point I was right around 6,000 subscribers. And at this point we're actually at 11,000 subscribers. We hit that earlier today. So the channel is growing nicely. In honor of that milestone, we're coming to you guys live with a stream here on YouTube. Of course, in this video, we will be doing a couple giveaways live. So stick around and see if your name is drawn for those of you who did enter that contest. I am joined today by my co-host, Cheese Toast.
What's up, YouTube?
He's been on the channel before, usually behind the camera, sometimes in front of the camera shooting, and he did join me at the last live stream, but he is an integral part of the Readiness Reviews team. Hope everyone is having a nice night here. Middle of the week live stream.
How many people we got going on?
So, how long has the channel been around for now? It's been 3.5 years. We're coming up on 4 years, I think. I believe May of this year will be officially 4 years of Readiness Reviews. And the channel was very slow to grow in the early days. It took more than a year to get the first 1,000 subscribers. After that, things went a little bit quicker. By 3 years, we had hit 5,000. And now, just short of 4 years, we're already at 10,000. Hopefully, things continue in that direction. I want the channel to grow as much as it can. We would really like to see that 100,000 subscriber mark one of these days. But given the niche content of the channel, who knows if that's possible or not, but we're going to keep chugging away regardless. Since we did hit 10,000 subs, though, you know we got to pop a bottle.
Okay.
So we're gonna celebrate with a little bit of sparkling grape juice.
This looks like... Twist top.
Oh yeah, it's a twist top. You know, I get the cheap stuff. We didn't celebrate like this for any of the other milestones, but 10,000 is a pretty big one, so I think that it's justified.
10,000 plus.
Yeah, 10,000 plus at this point. Cheers.
Thirsty.
That's the stuff. All right. So now that we have our drink and our intro, let's get right into the topics of discussion for this video. So, of course, we're going to be interacting with you guys a good bit. We'll be keeping an eye on the live chat as much as we can. And we're going to do some live Q&A here in a bit. So if you have some questions that you want answered here on the stream, hold on to those until we call for them in a little bit. The first topic that we want to discuss here is the Gundy Awards. So I knew about the Gundy Awards from a few years ago when Forgotten Weapons got nominated for one. And they went out there, Ian went out there and made a little video on it. So I knew that they existed. But never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would actually be nominated for a Gundy Award. And that has happened. I'm not sure how you get nominated, but from what I understand, it is a fan-driven thing. So someone or some group of people got together and nominated Readiness Reviews for this award. But we were actually nominated for Breakout Creator of the Year, along with like 20 other creators. So in no way do I think that I'm going to win that. I think it's nearly impossible that I will win Breakout Creator of the Year. But it is a huge achievement just for being nominated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's some pretty crazy recognition to get for such a small YouTube channel, and I only have you guys to thank for that. I do believe voting for the Gundys are over at this point, so you really can't go and support the channel, but I did want to let you guys know that we are trying our hardest to actually make it out there to the Gundys.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be able to get some cool content for the channel, because the Gundies are being held at Drive Tanks in Uvalde, Texas. And Drive Tanks is one of the only places in the world that you can go and literally drive and shoot live tanks. There's also going to be a pretty substantial range day there, where you're going to have all sorts of content creators across the internet that were invited are going to be there shooting firearms and filming content. And maybe it'll be a good networking event. If nothing else, it'll be a little bit fun. And since I am planning on getting, well, since not planning, I'm getting married next month. I'm going to look at this as sort of a bachelor party in a way. It's going to be just me and Cheese Toast going, as far as I know, if we can get away. And I think that'll be pretty fun. What do you think about it, Cheese Toast?
Oh no, it should be great. I hope we can go. It's what, about a 17-hour drive. We'll probably make it, if we do go, we'll try to make a cool video blog out of it, and probably post a lot of shorts from it and stuff, and keep y'all updated.
Yeah, so it's a 2-day event. It's a Friday and a Saturday, and I believe that is the 24th and 25th of next month. It's invite only, unfortunately. So you
month.
It is this month, not next month. It's the end of this month. My bad.
It's close.
It's a creator-only kind of thing, so it's not open to the public or anything.
Yeah.
But from where we are here in like Middle Georgia to Uvalde, Texas, is a 16-hour car ride, and we'll be turning around and coming right back right after the event. So it's going to be a very busy weekend. I do hope to get as much video content for you guys as possible. I might even do a little travel vlog. Who knows? I'm going to try to shoot as much as I can to make the trip worth the time investment and money investment.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys will enjoy seeing some of that.
Should be fun.
I'm hoping so.
Well, if you can go on YouTube and type in the Gundy Awards range day and kind of see what they do, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, and I wasn't actually really planning on going. He's the one that talked me into it. He's like, look,
It's like a once in a lifetime thing, maybe.
It'd be fun
Shoot
to
a bunch of Class 3 weapons,
Yeah.
drive a tank, maybe. That would be awesome.
Neither of us have ever shot full autos before, and we're hoping maybe we can get our hands on a full auto there.
And hopefully we can get our eyes on some like really cool surplus. If anybody has any like really rare things, there's definitely other people out there and other creators that are gonna have military surplus weapons. So hopefully we'll see something cool out there.
Yeah, well, I guess we don't know until you go, and so we're gonna try to go. I think that takes us to our next talking point, which is going to be our first giveaway of 2 giveaways. Of course, to be entered in this giveaway, you had to have commented on the video that I posted a few days ago. All of the comments on that video are going to be entered into a random comment picker, and that comment picker will be deciding who the winner is. We're going to do one giveaway now, and we'll do another one later in the video. That giveaway will consist, well, the prize for the first giveaway anyway, is going to consist of a US MRE. Now, I just picked this one right off the top of my MRE shelf. It is cheese, tortellini, and tomato sauce from 2018. I will have a selection of other menus should you wish to substitute your menu, but that'll be something that we'll figure out before I mail your winnings out to you. I'm also going to be giving away a Olight keychain flashlight in the first giveaway here. This was sent to me complimentary by Olight because I reviewed one of their products late last year for Black Friday. So they sent me a little complimentary light, and I'm going to pass that along to the audience. And lastly, I figured I had to throw in something that was surplus, right? I mean, the MRE is technically surplus, but a more surplus firearm-centric item, and so we're going to throw in a Garand clip for you guys. That will be the content for the first giveaway, and I figure we'll go ahead and draw the winner for this one right now. So this is our little giveaway website. I have the URL for the video preloaded. The winner will be removed from the list, so you will not be able to win twice. And keep in mind, this giveaway is for North America only. I'm not shipping international for this. So, get YouTube comments.
134.
Looks like we have 134 comments total. I'm going to need for you to answer that math question. Because I can't reach.
Numlock.
All right, and where is the start button on this thing? I guess I should have played around with this more. I've used this website before, but I cannot remember where the freaking start button is. Barton, oh man, this is a travesty.
Maybe click start.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
I'm just blind and couldn't see it.
There you go. Winner.
So Casey there is the winner. Casey, you will have a couple days here to contact me via email, readinessreviews@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook. It's just Readiness Reviews on Facebook, and we will get your prize out to you in a quick manner. Hope you guys could see all that okay. This was a new thing I tried here on the stream. Last couple giveaways that I did, everything was handwritten, and it took me a ridiculous amount of time to actually go through and handwrite all those names and check everything off, and I figured digitizing it would be a little bit easier. But anyway, congrats on winning the contest. We will have one more giveaway towards the end of the video, so stick around for that. We're going to do a little bit of live Q&A here with you guys. So, first off, I want to know if you guys could see everything with that giveaway okay. Did that look all right? Because I haven't really been able to test this. All right, good to hear. All right, does anybody have any questions? If I don't get in live questions, I do have some pre-prepared questions here, and I'll start answering those. But I kind of want to just hang out with you guys and see what you have to say. I know that's going to make for a more drawn-out and pausey video. It's not going to be quite as tight and concise as I like my content to be, but I did want to interface with you guys as directly as much as I can. Well, Michael, maybe you'll get lucky and your name will be drawn next. Who knows?
We got a... Carl Hoffman says, what do you think the best current value for surplus is?
Best current value for surplus.
Mosin's?
It sucks, but yeah, probably.
I mean, they're still expensive. $400.
The average going rate for a Mosin these days is $450. And it really hurts to say that, but that's what it is. You're lucky if you find an M9130 for $300 or $350. Like, that's being lucky for real. Average market price out there is $450 pretty much across the board for standard M9130s in like refinished condition. That's a good little chunk of money, but keep in mind that the ammunition for 7.62x54R is still among the least expensive ammo for any Milsurp. And so you can shoot a lot of 7.62x54R for a lot less money than you can, say, something like 303 British, which you can get an infield for a similar price. You can get an air socket for a similar price. Of course, Carcanos are super cheap, but the ammo is
expensive.
$40
a box.
If you can find it. 40 plus. The last I saw it for sale was like $70 a box. It's crazy. Really? So it's really hard to feed Carcanos, and that's one of the reasons that they're so cheap. Mosins are good because you can feed them on the cheap. The highest value is still an SKS, though.
Oh, yeah.
Bar none. You can't beat an SKS. I've been beating the SKS drum for years here on YouTube. It's always going to be my top Milsurp because 7.62x39 has everything good I was just saying about 7.62x54R, except for it's even cheaper and even more available. And you can't beat semi-auto, so SKS is the highest value. Even if they are $600, an SKS, $600 spent on an SKS will give you a lot more gun than, say, $450 on a Mosin, or, you know, about the same amount on an Enfield. You can shoot an SKS a lot more and have more fun for your money, in my opinion, at least.
It comes down to like what you want to do too, like, because an SKS is like a really good like plinking gun and shooting gun. I mean, you could hunt with it, but the form factor of it's like, I mean, it's really small. It's not very comfortable for a long range weapon, but if you're like hunting, like me, like I look at everything from a hunting standpoint because I hunt a lot. So like I would go with a Mosin just because it's a better hunting rifle. But SKSs still get the job done. I mean, I've killed does with an SKS. Like it does the job. But yeah, I think the SKS will probably be the king for a long time. There's too many of them out there. So like it's one of the guns you'll see at every single gun show, and a lot of them are $500-$600, but even at $500, an SKS is still very valuable. If you can get a really good one that doesn't look like it's been ran over by a tank, you know.
There's a lot of value in police surplus also. So really, that's kind of where the market's going. Military surplus at this point is mostly dried up. There are still police surplus firearms like your little handguns and stuff that pop up here and there, and when they are available, they're usually a really good value. Of course, you know, you'll have police turn-in Glocks and things like that you can get for, you know, $300. That's a really high value thing. But I think in the spirit of the channel, you were probably talking about, you know, more readily, you know, thought of military firearms, and so that's kind of what I talked about.
Tim Ashton says, "What's the I guess your favorite of all your Milsurp rifles?"
I kind of answered that in a previous live stream. It's a M91 Mosin that was gifted to me by him. Actually,
okay.
It's a Finnish Mosin Nagant, and it has, well, it's actually an American New England Westinghouse Mosin Nagant that was Finn captured and reworked by them. It's a very cool firearm, but it needs some work, and that's why you guys haven't really seen it on the channel that much. But that one has the most sentimental value, and so that one's probably my favorite. Aside from that, if I'm just looking for, like, you know, favorite shooter or whatever, it's hard to beat the M1 Garand. I mean, that is a super iconic firearm, and it shoots great. Of course, my CMP 1911 shoots ridiculously good, and I love everything about that gun. That's one of the best, like, $1,000 I've ever spent in my life, and I would do it again if I ever had the option. Unfortunately, you're only ever allowed to buy one 1911 from the CMP.
Dinosaur Harry says, "Has there ever been a rifle that you bought that was so bad you chunked it in the trash?" No, but the infill, like, that really crappy infill from the Hunter's Lodge probably should have been thrown in the trash.
There were a couple that I could have. I'd rather just keep a
spare parts.
A parts gun, or, you know,
maybe throw the stock in the trash.
Just keep an expensive paperweight around than I would actually throw something away, because I can repurpose almost anything. Given, you know, time and collecting other firearms. The 1888 commission rifle that I got from Hunter's Lodge, that one could have been tossed in the trash. I mean, it was literally broken in half, and it was even missing most of the bolt parts and stuff, and so even though it did have some harvestable things, and I'm not throwing it away, there wouldn't have been anything wrong with throwing that rifle away. You are never late, a different mark. You just arrive when you arrive.
Lotboards 54. So, which surplus rifle of yours is the best cosmetic condition?
I have a Car 98 Mauser chambered in 7.62 NATO that was made by FN in Belgium for the Israelis post World War II, and it is in like mint condition. It is like perfect off the assembly line, beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mirror bore, crazy good shape, and I've actually never shot it. I will shoot it. I'm not afraid to shoot it, but it is in crazy good shape. That's probably my nicest condition Milsurp. But I have some other nice ones. I mean, what are some nice guns in my collection? It's hard to think right offhand.
Your American rifles are in really nice shape. They're not like beautiful, but I mean, and you know, them 9130s that we bought, they're like brand new.
Yeah, because they're refinished guns anyway.
Yeah, so they look really nice, but I mean, those all look really nice because I mean, that's when we got into those. Those, you know, they were like brand new.
I've never been the kind of collector that's chased down firearms based solely on condition. I'm more of a pattern collector, so there's a lot of other firearms that I would like to add to the collection for the increased money that I would pay on a really nice condition firearm. So I'm fine settling for like a shooter condition gun if that will allow me to get that example for a lower price. I don't really care about buying mint condition firearms because I want to be able to go out and shoot it and handle it. If it gets a bump or a ding, I don't want to feel bad about it anyway.
Yeah.
And I want as many different types of firearms as possible, and I only have so much funds I can deal with. So I'm not one of these collectors that's like bent on condition for my own personal collection. But it is nice to get something that's really nice when you can.
Your the Chinese Mac 90 is really nice.
Yeah.
That one's really pretty. And then your Yugo SKS is really pretty. Those are both really nice guns.
The Yugo SKS wasn't really pretty until I made it that way, though.
Yeah.
it required a little bit of work, although the metal was outstanding. The metal work on that rifle was perfect. The stock just needed some work.
Did you swap the stock out on that one?
No, I just cleaned it up.
Okay. I don't know of anything else.
My favorite SKS... Well, my favorite SKS in my collection is my Russian SKS. I mean, I've wanted a Russian SKS forever, and I finally got one like last year, and that's awesome. But as far as like SKSs in general, I really like Albanian SKSs. Now, I don't have one. I'd definitely like to get one just because it looks so much different from all the other ones. It has the different charging handle. The front wood's a little different. It's not super crazy expensive like your East German SKSs or like your North Korean SKSs. They're like, you know, fairy dust. Those are super expensive rifles. The Albanian is expensive, but not nearly as expensive as those, and it's very unique. And so I really like the Albanian SKS, and that's something I've had an eye out for a long time. Hopefully I run across one of these days. My oldest piece from the collection, I actually did a video on this back a couple months ago. So it's on the channel if you want to check it out. I actually went over the 5 oldest. But the oldest rifle I have is actually a Vetterli. It's a Italian Vetterli that's been converted to 6.5 Carcano. And I think it was originally made in 1873 off the top of my head, if I remember correctly. So that's the oldest rifle in the collection by a good bit, actually. Ian likes French firearms. Do I have a preference? You know, Ian's dad had an affinity for Japanese firearms, and he actually wrote a book on the Arasaka, one that I have in my library, and I reference quite a bit when looking at my Arasakas. So maybe that kind of runs in their family. They're sort of specialized in one thing. I wish I could do that and felt like I could like focus in on one type of firearm, but I'm way too ADD for that. I want to get my hands on everything, right? So that's why I have like a gang of Carcanos. I have a gang of Swiss rifles. I'm always trying to grow my French collection because French guns are really cool. I absolutely love Enfields. So no,
all the countries.
Yeah, I don't really have a certain country that's my preference. My main collecting focus has always been trying to get every bolt gun from the First and Second World War, though. And that is a ton of guns. It is going to be a lifelong mission to try to get every, like, major bolt gun from each participant of those two world wars. I'm sure I'll die before I get it all, but that's kind of the goal.
Gotta like the Mausers.
Yeah, I mean, in general, Mausers might
the
be my
action's
favorite,
too good, man.
but, you know, it's not like one country's Mausers. Like,
No, they're all good.
I wouldn't try to buy, like, every German Mauser or, like, even every, like, Chilean Mauser, even though that would be easy.
Yeah. Tacos and French fries is what Milsurp got you hooked, or Milsurp collecting. I mean, for us, it was the Mosins. Our age, we turned 18, 19. Mosins hit the market, $90. Me and him both bought Mosins, and then we started from there. Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
That's me. I don't know about you.
Shooting, I grew up on an SKS, so that
Yeah.
kind of, like, ingrained the fun of Milsurp shooting. But the first real, you know, collecting was definitely Mosins.
Yeah.
Because they were cheap, and we were young and didn't have much money, but we had enough money for some Mosins. Now, I feel bad for kids nowadays because, you know, if you're just out of high school and you feel like you want to, you know, start getting into Milsurp collecting, you're going to be looking at shelling out like close to $5 to just get your foot in the door on almost anything. And it wasn't like that when, you know, when was that? 12 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever it was.
What's up, Smitty?
Smitty's in the house.
How's Canada treating you?
My first handgun, I believe that was not a Milsurp gun at all. It was a Keltec PF9. I bought that Keltec PF9 on recommendation from Nut and Fancy. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of him. He's had one of the longest running firearms channels here on YouTube, and I used to watch him way back in the day, 2008. Like, I was on the channel in the early days. Before he had 10,000 subscribers, I was watching Nut and Fancy. Yeah. And he gave that gun a very high praise, I'll say. And the one that I got was complete trash. And
Same here.
it never cycled, was never reliable, and I ended up selling it. That's actually the only gun I've ever sold also. So I've been buying guns, you know, I'm almost 33. I've been buying guns on a regular basis ever since I was 18. And the only firearm I've ever sold was a Keltec PF9, which was also the first handgun I ever bought.
The same for me. But we both got lemons.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't cycle.
I hated it too because that was such a good carry gun for its power and capacity versus its like size and weight.
Oh, yeah.
The reliability is just not there, and I can't have a CCW gun that isn't reliable. That's why I switched to a revolver after that gun, and I've never looked back because I know when I pull the trigger on that revolver, it's going to go bang. Even though I have 5 rounds, I'm just going to have to make those 5 rounds count. I know they're going to go off, and I didn't have that with the Keltec PF9. I'm sure there's good semi-autos out there, but
Yeah.
I really like carrying a revolver these days for concealed carry.
Yeah, just note if you ever look into PF9s, the extractors are pretty bad on those handguns.
All right, so we're going to take a break from the Q&A for a minute, and I'm going to bring up another one of my main topics for the stream. This is one that someone reminded me about here recently, and that is Rumble. So you guys know that Rumble it is a video streaming service, first off, if you don't know what Rumble is. It is a competitor to YouTube. Now, of course, YouTube is the big dog. They have all the market share, and I'm going to continue posting videos on YouTube as long as I possibly can. Rumble doesn't have all the strict rules that YouTube has, though, and so you can do a little bit more. You have a little bit more freedom in way of firearms-related content. And there's a lot of firearms creators that are going over to Rumble, really big ones at that. And I feel like it would probably be a good move for the channel for me to at least have some kind of presence over there. So for probably a year or so, I've had a Rumble channel. There's no videos on it yet. It's just Readiness reviews, no space. So just go over to Rumble, type Readiness reviews, and you can subscribe to the channel or follow the channel, whatever it is over there. I don't remember exactly how it works. But over this year, I do intend on starting to upload my back catalog of videos. Everything that's been posted in the past, I'm going to start posting over there on Rumble, and we'll try to get a little bit of an audience growing over there as a backup plan, just in case YouTube ever decides one day that, hey, we don't want firearms on the platform at all anymore, and we're shutting it down. I'll have something to fall back to.
Yeah.
I've also considered maybe looking at Utreon, but I don't want something that has a paywall. I've never wanted to extract dollars from the audience. I just want people to watch the videos and enjoy them. And that's the good thing about YouTube is that, you know, it's ad supported. It's Google paying. You're paying by watching, basically. You're not having to pay with your wallet. And, you know, I've never been a money motivated channel anyway, but getting a little bit of money coming in helps a lot, especially with things like ammunition and stuff like that. And so being able to monetize some is very important. And if there was no monetization whatsoever, I don't know how long I could keep the channel going. So I might also look at doing a Utreon, but that'll be something for maybe 25,000 subscribers or something. I need a bigger overall following to justify trying to ask the audience for money. And I need to be able to give you guys additional content. I want to make it worth your while. So say if I did like a Utreon or maybe a Patreon and you sub for like $1 a month or something, I would do a specific thing, maybe like a monthly live video Q&A on that platform specifically for those subscribers or something. I would need to find some kind of way to give it a value add for the viewer other than just getting the same content I'd be posting on YouTube for free. So what do you guys think of Rumble? Does anyone ever actually watch videos there? I mean, I know that it exists, but personally, I've never used it, so I don't know how big of a following channels are getting on Rumble. I'm sure it would be a really good thing if YouTube ever did, like, totally shut down firearms content. But as long as firearms content on YouTube is running, it's really hard to get off YouTube because that's where all the viewers are. Like, if you want views, you need your videos on YouTube if you're posting content online. Yeah.
Yeah, watching is fine. Good deal, man. So.
Yeah, Red Bear, and I think that's basically the consensus. I don't think anyone's actually using it now, but it's a good backup if something happens and it needs to be used. So that would be the go-to place right now for gun channels should YouTube decide to nuke gun content, which hopefully they never do. But they do keep tightening the screws a little at a time and a little at a time. You can do a little less. You can say a little less. You know, you can show a little less. And eventually it's going to get to the point where this is just not the platform for firearms anymore. And it sucks, but it's going to happen eventually, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The worst firearm in my collection? Well, I have a couple that are completely non-functioning, so I don't think I can really count those just because they don't work at all.
What's that over there?
Yeah, that's the 88 Commission rifle that is awful. As far as like worst functional firearm, I hate to say it, but it's going to be the Carcanos. I mean, they're just they all have issues. I'm sure that when they were new off the assembly line, that they worked just fine. But these guns that have been kicked around and used for decades, I mean, at this point, we're coming up on a century on some of them. They just weren't really built to last the way that some other firearms are. And things like the rear sight and the feed mechanism, all that stuff just like breaks down and becomes less good over time.
They're shot out too, most of them.
Yeah, they don't wear good. Like, there's plenty of guns that have been shot just as much as they have, but are in better shooting condition. But I think one of the main problems with the Carcano is actually not the rifles themselves, it is the clips. So
yes,
those rifles in general were designed to be used with a clip that was disposable. So you got all of your ammo as a soldier packed on 6-round clips already ready to go, and you loaded your clip and shot it, and then you loaded a new fresh clip and shot it, and you didn't have to worry about reloading and reusing those clips that were meant to be disposable. Well, nowadays in the collector market, we have clips that we're using dozens of times, maybe even more than that, and they get out of spec, and if they're off by just a little bit, they don't feed right, and it causes all kinds of feed problems with the Carcanos. There's also the issues of ammunition not being the right size, causing them to be inaccurate and not shoot good. That can be fixed with the proper ammo, but yeah, I think Carcanos are probably the worst rifles that I own, but that doesn't mean I don't like them. Just because they're bad doesn't mean that I have to hate them. They are bad, yes, they are bad, but I still like them, and I will continue to buy them until I have every Carcano that there is.
I mean, it's the cheapest surplus rifle you can get on the market right now.
Yeah.
So if you want to get into collecting, Carcanos are a good place to start, but don't expect to like shoot the hell out of it because the ammo is gonna like almost non-existent and very expensive. And more than likely, if you find $100 Carcano, it's shot out. The bore will be busted, or chamber will be really slacking.
All the old surplus ammo, or at the time would have been ammo they used, during the war, was all corrosive, and so they typically do have bores that aren't the best, and
throats would be swolled up or busted. If you're gonna buy a nice Carcano, get you a throat gauge.
Yeah, there are some very pretty Carcanos, but even on the ones that look nice, they don't wear that well. I'm telling you guys, like the rear sights, especially on like the carbines and stuff, the little like flippy bits that it has, those springs and stuff wear out. It'll be flopping all over the place where you're shooting. Like they have problems. You've always had people talk about them not being safe. They're plenty safe to shoot. You can shoot them as much as you want to. It's not going to blow up and hurt you. They're fine in that aspect, but they have problems with aging. They don't age well. And that's just all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take this time to remind you guys, and possibly inform some of you guys that don't know, that I have another YouTube channel. It is called Readiness Rations. And on that channel, I review military rations. So I sit down and open it up, and I give you a honest review of that packaged military food from the standpoint of someone who is a foodie. So I get very in-depth. I'm super descriptive, or try to be at least. And I really try my best to cover military rations to the highest degree possible. It is a side project for me that I really enjoy. I've been eating military rations since I was a child, and YouTube was the perfect place to continue doing that at. Of course, we do U.S. MREs, but I do foreign stuff too. So we have some very cool rations from around the world: German rations, Russian rations, Ukrainian. I've done Chinese, British, French. I mean, this coming Sunday, I actually have a video coming out on a Czech military ration, which was a very interesting ration. So if you would like to see some military rations from around the world, both old and new, I have been known to eat rations that are twice my age. You can go over to the Readiness Rations channel and check that out. I have a plethora of content over there already, and we will be putting even more content on that channel in the future.
No, he's never been to the hospital yet from a ration.
I've had a little bit of an upset stomach, and that's about it. I'm very careful in
tongue.
I'm very careful in what I actually eat, and so far I've been very lucky that I have not been seriously ill, because a couple things probably could have made me, but I am a little bit of a risk taker. I got a YOLO every now and then, especially with food, and so I've been lucky so far, though.
Yeah, I know somebody asked the question, did you do foreign rations, or were doing a foreign ration, and they probably just didn't know that you've separated your channels. I saw it earlier. I don't know who it was, but if you did, check out Readiness Rations, because he does plenty of foreign rations. He does Russian. He did a Chinese one in the past. Any country that has a ration, you've pretty much so far done it.
The ration content used to be on this channel.
Yes.
It used to be all one channel, and it was an alternating weekly release. 1 week would be a ration video, 1 week would be a gun video. Well, YouTube doesn't like that. It's not that they frown upon it or whatever.
It's hard for the algorithm.
It's not good for the algorithm.
Yes.
People that are looking for gun content are not necessarily looking for ration content, and people that are looking for ration content are not necessarily looking for gun content. So if you watch a video on a YouTube channel that say is about guns, and you really enjoy that video, well, the next suggested video that pops up is, hey, here's this weird dude eating this ration that's as old as his dad. You might be like, well, I want to watch gun content, and you click off that. Well, YouTube's like, well, that video obviously sucks. The person didn't like it, so we're not gonna show that video to more people. It's bad for the algorithm.
And it hurts your channel.
Yes. So by splitting it into two channels, having Readiness Reviews, which is firearms, and Readiness Rations, which is of course rations, both channels have grown very well since that point, because if you're watching ration videos, you get suggested more of my ration videos. If you're watching gun videos, you get suggested more of my gun videos, and it's not really confusing for the algorithm, and that's why it is two separate channels. If anyone has any more live Q&A questions, now would be the time to ask them. I do have some pre-selected questions from a previous Q&A that I have a couple that we can answer if you guys want to do that, but I would prefer to do live questions if you have live questions. I may, in fact, have the stomach of a goat.
He eats like super hot sauce like all the time. we both love like really like crazy hot sauces, and we eat like weird food, so yeah.
Yeah, I have a pretty extreme spice tolerance, but I'm a foodie. Like, when I'm not doing things that involve, like, firearms and doing things that involve food, I love cooking. I actually love watching, like, travel food videos on YouTube. I probably watch more food travel videos on YouTube than I do gun videos on YouTube. I know I do. Because my fiance likes that, too, and I love trying out new restaurants, and so it's a weird amalgamation of, like, military and food. Like, when they come together, it's military rations. Hey!
Yeah, we have some Argentine Mausers in the arsenal.
I have two 1891 Argentine Mausers, and one of my next series of videos that I plan on doing will be on Argentine Mausers. I have one that was one of the nickeled sort of parade rifles. Some people say that they are naval use rifles, which is still up in the air which one they are, whether they're naval use or parade rifles. Then I have one that's just a standard 1891 long rifle, and I have got clips for them recently. I got ammo for them recently, so we're ready to take them out to the range and do some shooting with them. And I will have hopefully a couple videos on Argentine Mausers for you good guys in the future. They are pretty cool. Not my absolute favorite rifles, but they are very old Mausers, and I do really like that.
Your holy grail of military surplus, military do I ask? I'd probably say your 1911.
Holy grail that I have, or holy grail that I would want?
Yeah. That you have, probably your 1911. That was one of the harder ones to get, I guess, because you had to get it in a pool to pick. Everything else you just kind of bought.
Yeah, the 1911 was lottery. Yeah, that's probably the holy grail of my collection is the CMP 1911, but especially because it has a US&S frame. Like, that's kind of a big deal. If I could ever get a slide for it, that would be a very valuable handgun, actually, because there were so few of those made.
Your AK, the Mac 90, that's a pretty expensive rifle now, probably.
If
you're going over value than just, like, rarity.
Texas Cast and Blast asks, have I shot a Steyr M95? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Several times. I have 4 in the collection, 5, something like that. Let's see. I have a M95 carbine from Budapest. I have a M95 34 conversion rifle that was made in Steyr. Those are both in 760 by 50. Excuse me, 8 by 56R. I also have 2 that are chambered in 8 by 50, which I have never shot because I can't get ammo for it. I have both a long rifle and a carbine that are 8 by 50. Those are very rough actions on the 56R rifles, but I have shot them. They kick like a mule. They are fun to shoot, and of course we'll get around to doing videos on those at some point in the future. That's for sure. Holy Grail as far as what I want. All right, so my Holy Grail.
Winchester Russian.
That's his Holy Grail.
That's my Holy Grail.
He loves the Winchester 1895
Yes.
chambered in 7.62 by 54R, and that is a Holy Grail gun for sure. I mean,
Sure.
they are awesome. I would love to have one too, but it's not my Grail gun. My Grail gun is a SVT. I'd really.
You could have got one.
I'd really like to have an SVT. I want semi-auto 7.62 by 54R. And then on the handgun side, it's a PO8 Luger. Now, neither one of those. The SVT is definitely like out of my reach price-wise nowadays. I mean, they weren't always, but they're more money than I have that I can spend currently. I can still afford a Luger, but that's a big bomb cost still, and I haven't really like found the Luger that I'm ready to like dump the money on yet.
If any of y'all ever asked a question of like what rifle would we have bought when we were of age to buy rifles, it would have that we didn't buy that we wish we would have. It was the SVT, because me and him both regret never buying an SVT when they were like $700. Like they were so obtainable, but we just like slept on them. Because I mean we were 18, 19, and it didn't, the funds.
I had
quite
many
there.
opportunities, not even that long ago, probably 4 years ago. I ran across an SVT for like $800, and I passed up on it, and I kick myself every time I go to a gun show for that, because they have literally doubled. Since then, they've doubled. So, if not more. And, man, I would love to have one of those rifles.
Probably the cheapest, like, Milsurp sniper rifle you could get that had optics on it, at the time. And the Mosins.
So we got a question here. T8 wants to know my thought on the RTI Lugers, and I actually had that on my list here of questions that I was asked off platform. I had a Zach A. Well, actually, Neil Harris actually asked me the same question. How do I feel about the RTI Lugers? Well, when RTI released their press briefing or whatever, saying that they had these Lugers, I was pretty excited. I was like, well, that's cool. They're getting in a batch of surplus Lugers. We haven't seen surplus Lugers in a really long time.
Yes.
And so I was excited about it. Of course, being from RTI, I was skeptical about, what kind of condition they're going to be on. But from everything that I saw, it looked like that they were going to be in good shooting condition. I mean, even have decent bores on them. Not bad at all. But then it really came down to like, what are the prices going to be on these things? And I was discussing with other people in chats and stuff. Like, we were trying to think up what we thought the pricing would be, and I was like, I think the pricing is going to come in at like $12.99 for like a base model. And I told them, I was like, if they're like $800, $900, I'm probably going to buy one. Well, here come the RTI Lugers, and they're all like $2,000. And so they're out of my price range. Unfortunately, I will not be buying an RTI Luger for review here on the channel. I wish that I could, but that video would need to get like 1 million views in order for for it to pay for itself. And I guarantee you that a RTI Luger video, although it would probably be pretty successful, is not going to be a video that's going to pay for itself. I would be in the hole on it. And, how bad would that be if I shell out, $1,500 plus on this Luger, and I get it, and it is in like RTI condition, and it's not even a shooter. Yes. Of course, it's going to be mismatched. I mean, it's awesome that they have them, and I'm glad people are out there buying them, but man, I wish they would have come in with a more competitive price. If they were cheaper, they would have all sold out instantly, though. So I know what RTI is doing. They're pricing them high, and they're trickling them out. That way they can get the most money for them. They're probably importing them for, a tenth of that, maybe even lower than that. I mean, I'm sure they're hardly paying anything for them. So there's going to be very high margins that they're making on these firearms. But if you look at it from a business standpoint, they're doing it the best way they can in order to maximize their profits. It might not be the way I would want it to be done, because, I want something more for my money. But they're doing what they have to do as a business, and, whether you agree with it or not, it's kind of irrelevant, because they're going to do what they're going to do.
How are they looking out there on the market?
They look good. I mean, like I said, they're expensive. They're not perfect. They're, I think for the most part, they have some mismatched parts. But I've seen they're actually putting them on the website with pictures of the bore. That's something that RTI has never done before.
That's great.
They're selling them as individuals. I wish RTI would start doing this with all their firearms.
Yes.
It would be a big job for them. They would probably need another employee just to like do this. But I think that they would end up probably making more money if people knew exactly what they were buying before they bought it. And so with the Lugers, they are showing the exact firearm that you're getting, so you know the exact condition, you know what the bore's looking like, you can see the markings, all that kind of stuff, and so you know where you're getting into if you order it.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good, but I still think they're too expensive. I've always wanted to go to the show of shows. That'll be a trip that I might make one day.
That's not too far.
Yeah. I mean,
Louisville. Yeah.
I've been to Kentucky before, and I know what kind of drive that is. It's not that bad. It'd be worth going. Yeah, I would say that there's a good chance that at some point we'll make a trip to the show of shows. I just don't know when. I mean, maybe next year. Who knows? Depends on what else is going on. I'm so busy outside of YouTube even that it's like it's hard to do anything these days. But once I get past this wedding and I have a more open horizon, maybe I'll make some plans to make some trips places like that. I could definitely shoot some cool footage there probably, unless I got in trouble. I mean, I would do my best to shoot footage for you guys if I did go to the show of shows. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I guess we could talk about some videos that we have in production. So we glossed over earlier on the 1891 Argentine Mausers. So that's something I've been working on. It took me a long time to put that Hellwan video together, and I was really disappointed at the viewership on that. I mean, I think right now the Hellwan history videos is at like 1.1K, and I would have been happy with that, 2 years ago if I got 1,000 views on a video. But these days, if I'm not getting like, upwards of 5,000, I feel like it's kind of a waste of time. And that's a very niche gun. I understand why people didn't watch that video. If you haven't checked that video out, I'd recommend looking at it because I put a lot of work into it. But those long format, like history videos, take a lot of work. They're almost as much work as the firearms restoration videos are. Those are the most work. You're not going to get more work than the firearms restoration videos. But the history videos where I'm actually like doing research, those take a long time to put together. I have to compile a script. Of course, we have to go out and shoot it so I can get insert footage. It's a very active video process. I'm putting those out, and when they don't get that many views, it's a little bit discouraging because I put a lot of work into it and you don't get a lot in return in terms of viewership. Of course, the only reason I make videos is for people to watch them, and if I'm making something and putting all this time into it and no one watches it, then it wasn't even worth me making putting the time into it. I could put time into something else that someone would enjoy more. But we are going to be looking to continue doing history videos, and we'll see how they look. The next history video will probably be the Argentine Mauser, but I have a lot more I can do, and so we'll keep pushing those out. The main thing I want to work on here in the immediate future is some restoration videos. I've been putting off finishing my Hunter's Lodge number 4 infield for way too long. It is time to finally get that thing all the way put back together, get the stock finished, get it looking pretty, and take it out to the range for you guys. So that's one that we definitely have to do. The cleaning up and deep dive of the Royal Tiger Imports number 1 infield is super high on the list. That's a rifle that I'm very excited to shoot because I think it's actually going to be a good shooter as opposed to a lot of the other rifles that I've got from Royal Tiger Imports. I think that'll be a fun video. And we really just need to do a lot of actual shooting footage. So I've kind of dwindled down my library, so we got to get out to the range and pull the trigger on some Milsurps. We're going to do some Swiss shooting, some more infield shooting, some Swedish shooting.
Yes.
I need a buttload of Arisaka ammo so I can do some Arisaka videos. That's what's been holding me up on those, is that I literally don't have ammo. I'm working on 2 boxes or something, and I'm afraid to shoot it because I don't know if I can get any more. So ammo is always a problem, but we're we're out here trying to get these videos done for you guys. I have a big back catalog of things that I want to work on, and so we should have content for years to come. Hopefully, is what the idea is, to keep this channel going as long as I can. The only infill that I really need is a jungle carbine.
Yeah.
So, I've been close to buying one a couple times, and I'm probably going to get a jungle carbine this year. That actually leads me to a question that I was asked. I had a viewer ask me, what are the top 3 Milsurps that I'm looking for in 2023? And right off the top of my head, I said a Finnish M39 Mosin. That's been at the top of the list for a while. I mean, that's like the Rolls Royce of Mosins, and I feel like my World War II collection is not really complete without one of those. So I need a Finn M39. I wish I'd have bought one when they were like 600, because now they're more like 800 or 900. But I'm going to keep looking for one of those on the cheap, and hopefully I'll be able to snag one eventually. I need a MAS 36. I particularly want a World War II MAS 36, just because that makes the most sense for the collection. And once I acquire that, I might do one of those bolt-action firearms of the Allies in the Second World War video, because I kind of need a MAS 36 for that. A Martini Henry, or more specifically a Martini Enfield chambered in 303, is still like up at the top of the list. I've been looking for one of those, and they're very hard to come by, and when they do, they're high. I don't really want one in the Snyder or the 450, because I won't be able to shoot it, because I'm not going to have old black powder ammo. I'm not reloading for it. I want one that's in 303, so I can actually just shoot 303 that I already have a ton of, and that would be really fun and a firearm that I want.
Crag rifle?
Crag is always up there. I mean, of course, I don't know if I'm like really gunning for a Crag this year, but if I run across one, I will definitely buy a Crag for a decent price. 3040 Crag is another one of those ammos that's like super hard to get. So, that's always a problem, and that's probably why I haven't bought a Crag yet, but I really need the Crag to finish out my, U.S. bolt gun collection, that's for sure. Serious Soldier wants to know what my favorite round is. 8mm, 7mm, 7.5 Swiss. Well, first off, all 3 of those are really great rounds. My favorite round to buy a firearm in, as far as Milsurp rifles go, is probably 8mm Mauser. 8mm Mauser is still readily available. It's a little bit more expensive than it used to be, but you can still find surplus 8mm Mauser. It is out there. So you can actually, shoot your guns. 7mm Mauser is a fantastic round. It's flat shooting. It's got really good ballistics, but it's harder to find these days, so I don't really care about adding more 7mm chambered firearms to the collection, as shooters at least. 7.5 Swiss is an outstanding cartridge. It really is like built for accuracy. It's a super modern cartridge for the time that it came out. I mean, it's crazy how old that cartridge is and how good it is compared to like new cartridges. It's really excellent. But I mean, between 8mm Mauser and 7.62 NATO, those are probably my 2 favorite cartridges, just because the abundance of ammunition is the highest.
Yes.
And I can shoot more of them than I can anything else. Of course, 7.62x39 is in there, but I was thinking more like large rifle calibers, not really like intermediate stuff. Any shotguns? No.
Surplus.
I mean, no surplus shotguns. I have
Yeah, hunting shotgun.
my hunting shotgun is in Remington 1100, it does well enough for that. I don't really care that much about surplus shotguns. For one, they're a little bit too expensive. It's not that I don't like them. It's just that it would just be another money sink in the collection that I could put towards centerfire rifles, which is really where I get super excited. I would really like to have a Browning A5 at some point. I really like that gun. Of course, the Remington Model 11 is like the same gun, but I would like to have a Browning A5. It would have to be the right one for the right price, though, for me to actually buy a Browning A5.
Michael Hancock asked if any lever actions. No, we don't have any. No,
I don't have a single lever action.
not surplus.
Of course, we would like to get a Winchester M95 or a Winchester 1895.
Yeah, 1895.
Those would be
beautiful.
Super cool. I would like to get a like an old 1894 chambered in like 30-30 at some point. That's just such an iconic like American firearm. I would like to have that in the collection just for collecting purposes, even though it doesn't really have any military prowess. Although, very isolated use, does exist, but it's not really a military gun. But no, I'm not big into lever actions. I like them, but I don't own any.
A little out of the price point.
I got a couple more viewer submitted questions, and then we'll wrap this thing up because we're basically at the top of the hour. So, let's see. What is my favorite era of collection? That was from Zach A. It's my favorite era to collect from.
World War
World War II is actually my favorite. I really like World War I. World War I firearms are super cool. And the transition from like World War I to World War II, seeing all these like long rifles get kind of cut down and streamlined for World War II is a really cool progression in my opinion. So I kind of look at it as one collection, but if I could only pick one, it would be World War II because you're going to get your 7.7 chambered Arisaka, which is a fantastic bolt action rifle, your Car 98K, the number 4 Enfield, of course, the M1 Garand. I mean, the World War II is like the peak of your like bolt action battle rifle, as far as like how good that technology can get. And there's so many participants, and that war is really like the craziest event that human history has ever had. I mean, hopefully nothing ever matches World War II on that scale. I mean, that would be, if we ever get into anything like that again, I mean, the world as we know it will be changed forever. But, World War II is the peak event in human history, in my opinion. I don't think, besides maybe going to the moon, I mean, still that has no scale, like the suffering that humanity had to endure for World War II. And, that's it. I mean, that's my favorite era for sure. Close second, World War I.
Every country just cranking out every type of rifle.
We do have another giveaway to get through before this is all done here. So we'll get the items here for our other giveaway. This one, our last giveaway of the evening, will also be a USMRE. Now, this particular menu is Tuna Chunk Light Water Packed Lemon Pepper. So it's lemon pepper tuna. If you do not want this menu, that is something we can discuss on the back end. This is just a placeholder. This is a 2018. So you'll get a USMRE. The winner will be receiving a Kershaw Portal. I've been EDCing one of these for like a year now, and even though they're not the most expensive knife, they are a very nice knife, and you won't feel bad if you lose it because it was free. And lastly, another Garand clip to give you guys a little bit of surplus stuff. We're going to use the same random picker that we did before. We're going to pick another winner. And Sean Dane is the winner. Sean, if you were here, you can say so in the chat right now. If you were not and you're watching this on the back end, send me an email, hit me up on Facebook, readinessreviews@gmail.com, Readiness Reviews on Facebook, and we will get your winnings out to you. Of course, if you were a winner on this contest, I'm probably going to throw in some extras. So just the 3 items that I've shown, you're going to get more than that. I mean, if I'm doing a giveaway, I'm going to make it worth your while. So I'm going to put some other stuff in there. Maybe some things that aren't exactly, YouTube friendly. I don't know. We'll see. But congrats, Sean, nonetheless. I did want to let you guys know that I will be attending an upcoming gun show. If you want to see me in person, I will be at the gun show in Jonesboro, Georgia, the weekend of February 18th and 19th. I'm not sure which day I'm going to be there. It will either be Saturday or Sunday. We haven't worked that out yet, but I'm definitely going to that gun show. It'll be at the Atlanta Expo Center. Every time that show comes around, I try to go to it, and usually I pick up a firearm. But if you happen to be there and you run into me, say hello. I love running into you guys in person. It's happened quite a bit lately, and that's been a big change because people are like, hey, I know that voice, and they'll come and talk to me, which if you notice my voice or you see me at the gun show, come say hey, because I love that stuff. So if anyone's in the area that weekend and you're at the gun show, be on the lookout for me because I might be there. I want to plug my social media stuff here. So all the links to my social media is down in the description of this video. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, you can go subscribe on Rumble. I don't have a link to that yet, but we might start linking to that in the future. Readiness Reviews on Rumble, and it's just at Readiness Reviews on Instagram, at Readiness Reviews on TikTok, Readiness Reviews on Facebook. I mean, if you search Readiness Reviews, you can find it everywhere, but all the socials are linked down in the description to follow me in other places. It has been a wild ride to this point, getting to 10,000 subscribers. We will be back with another live stream when we hit 4 years, which will be in May. I think that's May 8th. The live stream itself might fall on a different day, but we'll be announcing that in the future. Every year I intend on at least doing a yearly live stream for you guys. We'll have another giveaway on that. We will do some more Q&A on that one. So be on the lookout for that in the future. The channel would not exist without you guys, the audience, and I am forever grateful for each and every viewer out there. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I can keep making fun content for you guys to watch. And stay tuned for our possible Gundy's road trip content, because that should be fun at the very least. Any closing thoughts there, Cheese Toast?
Nothing I can think of.
I think that about does it for the stream, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around for more than an hour at this point, and we will catch you in the next video. See you then. Peace.